Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on our digital platforms at KHOU. I'm Russ Lewis in our newsroom this morning. Want to just go over some of the stories we see you're clicking on our digital platforms, including our website today. One of the big ones, you're still interested in that Galveston police officer picture, the video of the man arrested, a 43-year-old man being led by a couple of mounted patrol officers down the street, handcuffed by a rope. We can tell you the police chief there in Galveston held a community meeting last night because so many people down there are upset. An attorney for the family saying there's no excuse for this, no explanation. So the police chief held this meeting. A couple hundred people showed up there in Galveston last night. And basically the police chief, in a nutshell, said, look, this does follow policy. So these officers are still on the job. They did not violate policy by doing this. But then the chief also admitted that the policy needs to be reviewed. So more to come on that, because obviously a lot of people down there are still upset about what happened. This video you're seeing right here. So we'll keep you posted on that. Another story we're following today is what Congressman Joaquin Castro did. He represents a district to the west of here that includes a lot of San Antonio. And what he did is he tweeted out the names and occupations of some of the people in San Antonio who have given the maximum to the Trump campaign. And basically saying, here are the people, here are their names, the people who are funding Donald Trump. And that created a huge backlash, not only from the Trump campaign, but other Republicans saying, you're really endangering these people by putting their names and employers out on the internet in one, easily accessible tweet like that. And Representative Castro is defending what he did. Basically, that is publicly accessible information. Anybody can get it, because you have to, if you give to a campaign, you have to register who you are and where you work, what your occupation is. So it's not like that's private information that was released, but a lot of people are arguing on the Republican side that it targets these people because you're putting it out there to a group that's obviously on the other side of the Trump campaign, and that might endanger those folks. So, but the congressman's not apologizing for what he did. Of course, his twin brother, is running for president against Donald Trump, one of the many Democrats in that race. The other big story that you're clicking on today that we're seeing a lot is this woman who is going to be released from prison later today. Cyntoia Brown is her name, and she was convicted back in 2004, so 15 years ago. She was convicted of murder, but she says she murdered a man who had hired her for sex. She was only 16 at the time. She says she was being sex trafficked at the time as well by a pimp in Nashville, Tennessee. So she's been granted clemency now after 15 years in prison by the governor of Tennessee. It was recommended. He approved it. A lot of celebrities have been on this case. That's why you may recognize the name Cyntoia Brown, Kim Kardashian West, Rihanna, LeBron James. A lot of people have come forward in the last few years trying to get this woman released. A documentary was done about her case as well. And basically the argument here is she was a juvenile. She was 16 when she was sentenced practically to life in prison. The state of Tennessee says that she could have been eligible for parole after 51 years in prison. She served 15. She will be on supervised release for 10 years now once she is released later today. But that's a big story you're interested in. If you want the details, you can read those on our website. It is a very interesting story, very complicated story about what this woman went through as a child and a teenager, and then of course since she was arrested and convicted of murder, spending the last 15 years in prison. So we're following that as well. I want to give you a quick look at the weather before we go today. We know a lot of you are interested in the heat that's here. If a lot of people think we've had kind of a mild summer for Houston, that's about to change. We're looking at close to triple digits on the actual thermometer there on Saturday. You can see 99, also 99 for Sunday as well. But the heat index much higher than that. It's going to be into the low 100s today, and then maybe up to 110 plus this weekend with the humidity and everything else going on out there. So stay safe, stay hydrated. It's extra important as the temperatures ramp up here in the next few days. Doesn't look like much rain in sight, just going to be all heat for Houston and the surrounding area. In fact, we're kind of surrounded by heat advisories right now. Houston proper is one of the only places not officially under a heat advisory right now. All right, we're going to let you go. Thanks very much for sticking with us here on our digital platforms, and we'll be back on TV here at noon with the news. Shern Min and Erica Lopez with that. We'll see you for the 411 as well, coming up at 4 o'clock this afternoon here at KHOU. I'm Russ Lewis. Make it a great day, everybody.